Hola a todos, buenas noches. Hoy es martes 17 de septiembre de 2024. Son las 6:30 de la tarde en Colombia. Les habla Mike y les doy la bienvenida a otro video en el cual vamos a hacer una revisión de los temas que vimos en el video que hemos publicado esta semana en el canal. Hi everybody, good evening. Today is Tuesday, September the 17th, 2024. It's 6:30 p.m. in Colombia. I'm Mike and I bid you welcome to another live class. Tonight we're going to talk about, we're going to go over the stuff that we learned on the video that we posted this week. We've been posting a series of videos in which we are learning how to conjugate verbs using the indirect object pronoun. So that's what we're going to do, just a review. So first, I want to thank each and every one of you, the ones who are right now live here with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Also, thanks to all of the people who are watching this later, because this video, although it's a live class, you can find this video later on the channel. You can just check the tab, the live classes tab, the live videos left, and you're going to be able to watch this. And also, I want to thank to the people who are members of the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. What's the idea with these classes? With these videos, with these live videos? The idea is that I have a video every week about verb conjugation, which I've been saying this a lot on my videos. I think it's pretty much the toughest part of learning Spanish, verb conjugation. So I have some videos about verb conjugation, especially with indirect object pronouns, the pronominal constructions that we call. And we just go over. If you have questions, feel free to ask about that subject. And that's pretty much it. So I think it's going to be pretty much quick. But anyhow, that's why we're here. So once again, this week we posted a video about the verb preocupar. There's a thing with verbs in Spanish. Same thing happens the other way. The verb preocupar can be used meaning different things in Spanish. I can mean different things when I talk about preocupar. So I can say, you should mind your studies more. You should mind your studies more. Spanish. Deberías preocuparte más por tus estudios. Mind, the verb mind in English, could be translated as preocuparse, right? Preocupar. Preoccupy, that would be another verb. And this is something that we already saw on the video. If you haven't seen the video, please check the video. That was last week's video, how to conjugate the verb preocupar with indirect object pronouns. And I can say that problem has been preoccupying him a lot. Ese problema lo ha estado preocupando mucho. That's another way of saying. To care about something. I really care about children's well-being. Me preocupa. En serio me preocupa el bienestar de los niños. Preocupar. I feel responsible for something. I care about something. So we can, or I can say worry. Don't worry. No te preocupes. Okay, so regardless that, we have a way of using verbs in Spanish, and that's what pretty much we're checking right now. Keeping in mind that we can use preocupar meaning different things, right? Meaning different things and using different things in English. So there is an interesting thing that happens in Spanish that is not pretty much the same in English, but I would say that I can use this verb in 4 different ways, the verb preocupar, and lots of verbs in Spanish that we can use in that way. So I can say, let me show you this, because this is part of the example that I showed on the class video. So I have these 4 different sentences. Check it out. Yo preocupo a mis padres cada vez que voy de viaje. I worry my parents every time I go on a trip. I left this little mark here because this may not be the best way to say this in English. But I just want to use this structure and this verb, just the verb worry in all of the sentences, just to give you an idea of how is it working in Spanish, just for the sake of the example, right? So, yo preocupo a mis padres cada vez que voy de viaje. In this case, I use a subject, I use the verb, and I use the object. So this is subject, verb, object structure. In English, it's pretty much the same. In this case, the conjugation of the verb preocupar goes depending on the subject and the tense. In English, we just need to worry about the tense pretty much. The subject, the conjugation is pretty much the same for all of the subjects. In Spanish, it's not like that. So I have to check. Yo preocupo, if it's a simple present tense. Tú preocupas, usted preocupa, ustedes preocupan, él preocupa, ella preocupa, preocupa, nosotros preocupamos, ustedes preocupan, ellos preocupan, ellas preocupan. Nosotras preocupa, nosotros preocupamos, nosotras preocupamos. And that's for simple present tense. So if I go with the past, I go with the future, different conjugations. But in this structure, the conjugation goes like that. So I have one way. Now I can use exactly the same conjugation, the same structure, but in this case, I'm going to replace the subject with the object pronoun. I mean, the object with the object pronoun. This is the subject with this is the object. I'm going to replace the object with the object pronoun. In English, I place the object pronoun in the same place where the object is. So if I say I worry my parents, being my parents, they, I use them as an object, a direct object pronoun, and I say I worry them. In Spanish, is not like that. In Spanish, if I'm using the affirmative, the negative, or the interrogative ways, the only structure in which this doesn't work like that is the imperative mood. But anyhow, I use the direct object pronoun here. Los preocupo, yo los preocupo. Yo los preocupo cada vez que voy de viaje. A mis padres. Los preocupo. ¿A quiénes? A mis padres. Yo los preocupo. So we would say that this is another way of using the verb in a different structure, meaning that the structure changes a little bit because this moves here as a direct object pronoun. Or I can use the verb, and this is something that we can do in Spanish a lot. There's a lot of verbs that may not be reflexive verbs in English, but we can turn them as on reflexive verbs. This case, preocupar, I can say, I worry every time I go on a trip. I'm worried, like I worry myself, right? In English, I don't say, oh, I worry myself. No, I worry. I'm worried. I get worried, right? But in Spanish, we can say, yo me preocupo. Meaning that instead of a direct object pronoun, I'm using a reflexive pronoun. Yo me preocupo. And this is another way of saying this, a different way of saying this, right? And I can also use an indirect object pronoun and use a pronominal construction. Me preocupa ir de viaje. There's something that causes something on me. Ir de viaje is an action that causes an emotion or something on me, which is preocupación, worriness. Me preocupa. In this construction, in this structure, the verb conjugation remains the same despite the indirect object pronoun. Because is this the thing that's causing the action? And if this doesn't change, the conjugation doesn't change, just for the tense. Or if this is not a singular thing but a plural thing, it changes according to the noun. That's it. So as you can see, in Spanish, there's a lot of verbs in which we can with. Anyhow, sorry. I think you're. I'm sorry. uh, uh, we can do this in Spanish. And this creates confusion, and this makes learning Spanish difficult because we need to learn different conjugation forms, and we need to try and understand how to put words, pronounce, and everything in order to sound natural. And it's hard because it's not like in English. If you can see, as you can see, check it out. Let me show you something again here. Here, them, it's a subject pronoun, an object pronoun. And here, if I say myself, is a reflexive pronoun. And here, there is no reflexive pronoun at all. It's just subject, verb, object structure. But in Spanish, it's a different form because this is a pronominal construction. And here, I have me, and here I have me. And I can think that this me is the same me as this. And no, sir. This is a reflexive pronoun, and it happens to be the same word, but in this case is an indirect object pronoun, which is a different thing. This is a little bit confusing, right? But that's the way it works in Spanish. So let's think about the pronouns just a little bit. Just let's go over this. So we have indirect object pronouns. The indirect object pronouns, these are the ones that I use for pronominal constructions. We have direct object pronouns and we have reflexive pronouns. So let's start with the direct object pronouns. Me for me, te for you, lo for him, it, masculine singular, or you formal like usted, la for her, it feminine singular, nos for us, les for you all like ustedes formal, los for them masculine plural, and las for them feminine plural. This would be the object pronoun in English, and this would be the direct object pronoun in Spanish. That's it. Me, te, lo, la, nos, les, los, las. So, bring him here. Tráelo. Remember, this is you say, oh, how come the direct object pronoun is not going before the verb? Because I'm using and I told you this before a few minutes ago. I'm using imperative mood. Okay. Bring him here. Tráelo. Right? Bring him here. Tráelo aquí. Direct object pronoun. Pay them. Paga. Oh, no. Pay them. It doesn't work here. Sorry. I brought them here. Yo los traje aquí. That's a subject verb object structure. I carry them, feminine plural. Yo las cargo. So this is the direct object pronoun. We can use reflexive pronouns for myself, yourself, himself, herself, yourself, ourselves, themselves, or yourselves. And we have to yourself because one is for tú and the other one is for usted. Me, te, se, no se. What's the thing? If we compare here, let's compare real quick. Between direct object pronouns and indirect object and reflexive pronouns, we have me. We have me. The words are the same, but the function is different. We have te and we have te. And we have nos and we have nos. So when it comes to direct object pronouns and reflexive pronouns, we have three pronouns that are the same in both cases. The same words with different functions. It's different when we use us in English than when we use ourselves. It's different. Same in Spanish. Thing is that we use the same word. It's something like when in English we use the verb to be, and in Spanish we have two ways of translating the verb to be, ser o estar. In English it's the same. In Spanish it depends. Okay. And if we check the indirect object pronouns, me, te, le, nos, les, we also have me, te, and nos. So these three pronouns, the words are the same, but the function is different for each one of them. And depending on the structure, we need to use either an indirect object pronoun if it's a pronominal construction, direct object pronouns, if it's a regular subject verb object structure, or reflexive pronouns if it's a reflexive sentence. If I'm using a reflexive form. And this is, as I told you before, this is what I think that's the reason why learning Spanish is kind of difficult. But I think if we understand that we have these four different ways in which we can, basic ways in which we can find a verb being conjugated, I think that can help. That can help to go through and start trying to understanding and exercising everything. When we use the verb preocupar in the subject verb object structure with direct object pronoun or reflexive mood, we conjugate the verb according to the tense and pronoun or subject. In this case, we have for the simple present, yo preocupo, tú preocupas, usted preocupa, ustedes preocupan, él preocupa, ella preocupa, preocupa for it, nosotros preocupamos, ellos, ellas preocupan, nosotras preocupamos. That's simple present. We also have simple past, indefinite past. Yo preocupé, tú preocupaste, usted preocupó, ustedes preocuparon, él preocupó, ella preocupó, preocupó for it, nosotros o nosotras preocupamos, ellos o ellas preocuparon. The simple past, the imperfect way, which is, remember, the difference between these two simple pasts is this one happened, the indefinite happened, and that was it. Once in the past, that was it. And imperfect is pretty much when we're either telling a story or when we talk about something that we used to do on a frequent basis. Yo preocupaba, tú preocupabas, usted preocupaba, ustedes preocupaban, él preocupaba, ella preocupaba, preocupaba for it, nosotros o nosotras preocupamos, ellos, ellas preocupaban. We have the simple future. Yo preocuparé, tú preocuparás, usted preocupará, ustedes preocuparán, él preocupará, ella preocupará, preocupará for it, nosotros, nosotras preocuparemos, ellos, ellas preocuparán. And we have preocupado for perfect forms. Yo he preocupado, tú has preocupado, nosotros hemos preocupado. And preocupando for the gerund form. Yo estoy preocupando, tú estás preocupando, and such and such and such. So this would be like the conjugation table for these cases. And of course, we have a conjugation form if we use pronominal constructions. If the object causing that sensation, emotion, or cause consequence in us in the pronominal construction is singular, we use this for the simple present, preocupa, and remember it doesn't matter who is the indirect object pronoun because it's not the one who's performing the action. Preocupó, preocupaba for the simple past, preocupará for the simple future, ha preocupado for the simple for the present perfect, va a preocupar going to form, está preocupando present continuous, estaba preocupando for the past continuous, ha estado preocupando for the present perfect continuous, preocuparía for conditional, preocupe the present subjunctive mood, preocupara o preocupase past subjunctive mood. And there's, of course, a conjugation table also for the plural. Preocuparán, preocuparon, blah, blah. So when we go, we use this verb conjugation table, depending on each one of the structures. And that's pretty much it. Now, there's another thing that I wanted to tell you about the verb conjugation, is that these 4 different ways work in a lot of verbs. And I chose 3 verbs. 3 verbs. Let's check these 3 verbs. So we can try and do the exercise here with these 3 verbs. Mostrar. Mostrar, which is to show. To show. To show. Traer, which is to bring. And, and oler, which is to smell. 3 verbs. Show is not a reflexive verb in English. Traer is not a reflexive verb. And oler is not a reflexive verb. But I can use that with reflexive pronouns in Spanish. I can use these verbs, subject, verb, object, with direct object pronoun or in pronominal construction. So, yo muestro deseos de trabajar. Subject, verb, object. Yo muestro deseos de trabajar. I show my will to work. Yo muestro deseos de trabajar. This is simple present tense. Oh, let's do it. Yo muestro mi casa. I show my house. Yo muestro mi casa. I'm going to use this one because the way that I'm going to move this. Yo muestro mi casa. Yo la muestro. I'm using direct object pronoun. Right? Me muestro. Me muestro ante las personas. I show myself to the people. And this is a reflexive form. Interesting, right? And me muestra la verdad. I have the 4 ways of conjugating the verb according to what I just said in the beginning. In these 3 first ways, I use the same conjugation. I'm talking about I in the 3 different sentences. The subject, which is performing the action of showing, demostrar, it's me, I, yo. But in this one, this is a pronominal construction. Something is showing me the truth. Something is showing something to me. I'm an indirect object there. And it's funny because in this one, we use the same me, but the conjugation is different. Why? Because this is a pronominal construction. So as you can see, this is just any verb. And I can use in Spanish in the 4 different ways. This is what I think makes Spanish difficult to learn. But now, if we understand this, I think we can start, okay, now I know that for the 3 basic forms, if it's not a pronominal construction, now I understand, I can hear a mí me muestra la verdad. I can say that as well, because we already discussed that. I can understand a little bit more why it's so complicated and start working on this. Traer, with traer, same thing happens. Yo traigo dinero. I bring money. Yo lo traigo. I bring it. Me traigo. Me traigo. Oh, me trae. No, me traigo. Yeah. Me traigo. Now I'm thinking. I think traigo. Yeah. Me traigo un vaso. Me traigo un vaso. I can say that. In Spanish, I can say, me traigo un vaso, or I bring something. Me traigo un vaso, it's for me, right? And this is reflexive form. This is a reflexive form. Or me trae loco. This is in fact this is an expression in Spanish. Me trae loco. If I talk about somebody, it's he or she is driving me nuts. And same again, we are using this three different ways with the same verb, in which the first three are kind of subject verb object structures, being this reflexive way structure, and this is a pronominal construction. And we can do the same with a letter. Yo huelo las flores. I smell the flowers. Yo las huelo. I smell them. Me huelo antes de salir. I smell myself before going out. And this one. Me huele a que algo no va bien. It smells that something is kind of going wrong. Once again, these are three verbs that I just picked. And this doesn't happen with all of the verbs. Some of the verbs you cannot do this. But most of the verbs in Spanish we can do this. So what's the thing with this idea? The idea is that in this series of videos that I've been posting and that I will be posting, I'm gonna go with different verbs during the exercise of checking these different conjugations for you to understand. For you, when you watch the video, try, understand, study, practice, repeat, and then on Tuesdays, if you want, you can just come here. If you have questions, just ask the questions. If nobody asks anything, well, I just go and pretty much explain details about the same things that I did talk on the video that I posted last week, and that's it. Which is the case right now. I don't see questions anywhere. So I think everybody is cool with it. So remember, Spanish might be, well, it is difficult. Spanish is difficult. Yeah, that's true. Spanish is difficult. Spanish is not easy. Especially if you are a native English speaker. It's hard. It's not easy. Because structures are different. Spanish is a very complex language, such and such. But I think, once again, the complexity of and the difficulty of Spanish, of learning Spanish, lays on verb conjugation. I've been trying, you can believe, I've been trying to figure out a way to find a pattern and some things to show with every verb, which is what I've been doing with the series of videos of conjugating verbs with indirect of your pronouns, in which we can find this. Oh yeah, I can see all the different ways in which I can use this verb as far as I understand the verb conjugation rules. That's pretty much it. So what's the idea for you with this? First, watch the videos. Try and understand the subject, the concept. If you have questions, check the video again. If you don't understand, leave a comment and I'll try to reply as soon as possible. That's the first step. Then go and read a lot. Read things in Spanish. Find news, articles, essays. You can ask ChatGPT, hey, I need a 300-word text about any subject using this ways of conjugating the verbs in Spanish. Okay. You can ask ChatGPT to point them out later, and you can see if you did correctly, right? Oh yeah, this is the way it works. Oh, this is a pronominal construction. This is a reflexive form. Then, next step, raising the bar a few notches, would be listening. Go and listen podcasts, videos, tech talks, interviews in Spanish, of course. And remember, my Spanish is from Colombia, Latin American Spanish. I'm pretty much leaving aside the vosotros part. because this is just in Spain. Spain, Latin America. So anyhow, and then same thing. Watching videos, watching movies, watching series, watching TED Talks, podcasts, whatever, listening and trying to spot where the pronominal construction is, where the subject verb object structure is, if there's any indirect object pronoun, if there's any object pronoun, if you can find reflexive forms and such and such. And last but not least, speak. Try and speak. Find language exchange partner. Trust me, there's a lot of people out there, Spanish native speakers, who want to exchange. Oh, let's practice English, let's practice Spanish. Let's help each other. None of you are teachers. It doesn't matter. Because if I'm talking to somebody in Spanish and I see they're saying something wrong, I say, oh, it doesn't sound correct. Really? Yeah, it's like this. Okay, why? Well, I don't know, but that's the way it is. Okay, thank you. At least I'm being exposed to language. Same thing. Oh, wow, you're saying something wrong in English. We don't say that. Oh, really? How do you say that? Oh, like this. Why? Well, I don't know, but that's the way we talk. Okay, find a language exchange partner. There's a lot of people out there, Spanish native speakers, who really want to do this. Don't be shy, and let's try and see. And trust me, I'll try every week to bring useful learning resources for you to keep on improving. So I think that's it for tonight. If you like the video, please, you know what to do. Share with your friends, group, social media. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, well, this is for my other channel, my channel in which I teach English to Spanish native speakers. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell button in order to get notifications, and remember, that's going to let you participate on the chat in these live classes. If you want to ask something, we're gonna be here. It's like having your teacher or somebody to talk with, and you can ask questions. So thank you for being here. Thanks to all of the people who were here with me tonight, and all of the people who's watching this later. Thank you for watching the whole video, for taking your time and checking this. Remember, this is a review of the videos that I post every week. Please check the videos, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Have fun. Have a great week. Gracias por estar aquí. Gracias por acompañarme. Que pasen una excelente semana. Estudien mucho y nos vemos en la próxima clase. Bye bye.